What's up guys, I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another zombies video where today I have for you the story of the space monkeys. A very requested video in the comment sections of these story episodes. As always, if you haven't checked out the previous ones, you can see them all on screen now. Definitely go and do it. The links will be all down in the description. I can't thank you guys enough for the support on these episodes. You really seem to be enjoying them, which is awesome to see. On the story of Brutus, we reached over 9,000 like ratings. So for this video, could we shoot for 10,000? It's a massive goal to reach, but I think it's a awesome little challenge for you guys. Anyway, leave a like rating if you enjoy. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss another episode. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Here we go. During October of 1963, the Cold War was at its prime, and the space race was well and truly on. After just a few years before, in 1961, the Russians being the first to send a human being into space, the race was now on to land the first man on the moon, between the Russians and the Americans. During October of 1963, a group called the Ascension group, based at the Soviet Cosmodrome, was a bunch of Russian scientists and was led by Dr. Gersh. The main objective of the Ascension group was to work on rocket research, a project dedicated to sending monkeys into space. On the sidelines, Gersh also set up two other projects called Mercury and Thunder. One day, Dr. Gersh and his assistant, Yuri Zavosky, in October of 63, was working on Project Mercury, which was a project dedicated to making something called the Gersh device, where, using technology from the teleporters they had stolen from Doris, the Ascension group planned to create something called the Gersh device. This was going to be a teleporter for the Russians' own use. So Gersh and Yuri worked on this project together for many months. Everything in Project Mercury seemed to be running smoothly until Gersh's assistant Yuri started to become distracted. This led Gersh to thinking that Yuri was now incapable of handling Project Mercury, or as he called it, the Gersh device. And so, due to numerous delays and setbacks, Gersh decided that it was best that Yuri was instead transferred over to AT-64A, otherwise known as Rocket Research.
Convey my sincere gratitude to you for that. But on to business. I am pleased to report that all projects are running smoothly again after recent personnel changes. As I had previously mentioned, brilliant scientist, but he has so far proven incapable of handling Project Mercury, or as you call it, the Gersh device. Due to numerous delays and setbacks, I have sadly been forced to transfer Yuri to the 8K64-A experiments. I have decided that your nephew should take his place, and look forward to working with him directly.
Rocket Research was a project in the Ascension group, which was part of the Soviet space program, where they would use monkeys as test subjects and send them into space. Since just a couple of years before, the Russians sent the first man into space and he mysteriously died, instead of sending another human, they decided that monkeys was the best option. They would send them into space, they would test their heart rate, they would watch them for days and see if anything was to happen to these monkeys in space. If the test was to be successful, then eventually another human could be launched into space by the Russians. But in the meantime, at the Soviet Cosmodrome, they were using these monkeys as test subjects and sending them into space. But Yuri wasn't happy about this. Yuri claimed that his intellect was being wasted on blasting a bunch of monkeys into the atmosphere. He didn't want to be working on this. Yuri thought that his main objective was to get the Gersh device done and finished. He wanted to work on Project Mercury, but instead was transferred over to Rocket Research, a project that he thought was pointless. Sending monkeys into space was something that he thought was stupid.
My intellect is ill-served blasting a bunch of monkeys into the atmosphere. But I can't fight Gersh over this. I was able to hold on to my keys. Some after-hours research. No one else really understands what Project Mercury is capable of. Until then, this lab will have to do.
However, Gersh, being the leader of the Ascension group, Yuri, being his assistant, had to do what Gersh told him to, and so he got on with his work at Rocket Research. Yuri got these monkeys, put them on the lunar landers, and then sent them into space. He sent multiple tens, if not hundreds of them, into space to see if they would survive and basically what would happen to them. As we know from my story of Ascension video, if you want to check it out, I will link it down in the description, things then took a turn for the worse. Gersh, away from Yuri, continued to work on Project Mercury. His staff began to work on Project Thunder, which was to build the Thunder Gun, whilst Yuri, working on Rocket Research, began to go insane. He noticed teddy bears, Matryoshka dolls, random objects of children's toys throughout the facility, and this caused him to wonder how a child could have ever been let into the station. Little did he know that this child, who was Samantha, was beginning to drive Yuri slowly insane. This led Samantha to be able to infect Yuri's mind, talking to him, telling him to do things, and eventually telling him that he needs to get rid and kill Gersh. And so that's what Yuri plans to do. Where one day, behind Gersh's back, he works and finishes the Gersh device. Yuri tells Gersh to look at it, Gersh activates it, which opens the portal, sucks Gersh in, trapping him in the device, and then allowing the zombies to enter the facility. With Gersh trapped and Yuri now dead, overrun by the zombies, it was then shortly after that our crew of Richtofen, Takeo, Dempsey and Nikolai teleported to the overrun Soviet Cosmodrome, where they heard Gersh telling them to free him from the Casimir mechanism. And so that's what our characters work to do. But in our steps to free Gersh, not only did the crew have to deal with the zombies, but the monkeys that were sent into space during the Rocket Research program, their pods then came crashing back down to Earth. And as the monkeys climbed out, it became clear that in space, they became exposed to element 115. These monkeys were now zombified, with their red, glowing eyes and increased physical capabilities. As these zombified monkeys came crashing down to Earth, as we know, not only did they attack us, but they will also, for some unknown reason, start to steal our characters' perks, whether just because they are mischievous monkeys and, want to destroy these perk machines because that's what monkeys do, they destroy things, or whether they're doing this for a reason, we don't know. But these monkeys in space somehow became infected with 115, since they were in pods just floating around up there, and as we know, 115 is a meteor that comes crashing down to Earth. 115 comes from space itself, so somehow these monkeys and that meteor 115, the rock, in space, both of these came into contact, causing these monkeys to become infected, and their pods then crashing back down to Earth in Ascension. The strange thing is, though, the monkeys have red eyes, whereas the zombies have yellow eyes, so we can assume that the monkeys are not controlled by anyone. Samantha has control of the zombies because they have yellow eyes, but the monkeys having red eyes, which actually is the same colour eyes that the zombies in Mob of the Dead have, we can assume that both the zombies in Mob of the Dead and the monkeys in Ascension are not able to be controlled by anyone. However, as our characters continue to work to free Gersh, as we kill these infected monkeys that come crashing down to Earth, we eventually work to free Gersh from the Casimir mechanism, and his soul is left to wander the universe. And that is the story of the Space Monkeys, a project that Dr. Gersh's assistant Yuri was transferred over to, which involved him sending monkeys into the atmosphere for research. But as we know, when the facility was overrun, Yuri was killed and Gersh was trapped in the Casimir mechanism, these monkeys became infected with 115 in space, they came crashing back down to Earth, and then tried to kill our zombies characters. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Let me know in the comments section below, what would you like to see next for the story of episodes. There's still so many more things to cover, including all of our zombies characters, Richtofen and Takeo, the Weasel, Malton. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Leave a like rating, make sure you are subscribed for more zombies videos, and of course I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.